It started with a noise that shouldn't have been there, in the quiet town of Millbrook, just after 3 a.m. With a soft drizzle painting the streets silver, a security camera behind Delaney's grocery store blinked its red eye to life. A whimper, not a cat, not a raccoon, a human cry. It was faint, so faint that even the overnight garbage collector rolling down Main Street didn't hear it. But someone else did, and that someone wasn't human. Bruno, a 9-year-old retired police K9, lay in his usual corner behind his owner's modest auto garage. He wasn't supposed to be there anymore. Arthritis, cloudy eyes, old scars said his glory days were over. But instinct, that never retired. He jerked up suddenly, ears stiff, nose twitching, eyes wide. Something was wrong. You know those moments that give you goosebumps for no reason? The ones that make your heart beat faster, even though you're just sitting still. Bruno had one, and he followed it. But what a 9-year-old German Shepherd found behind a grocery store dumpster in a forgotten alley, that would shake an entire town. And what the police saw on the security footage later, that would make headlines. Let's rewind just a bit. Meet Daniel Rowe, 58 years old, former auto mechanic, Vidover. Lives alone, quiet type, wears the same flannel shirt every Thursday like clockwork, and pretends not to like country music. He doesn't believe in fate, doesn't believe in miracles, and most of all, he doesn't believe in second chances. After his wife died 8 years ago, Daniel shut off a part of himself. No kids, no grandkids, just him, his tools, and Bruno, the German Shepherd his late wife rescued. Off the side of I-90 back when he still smiled without noticing. Bruno had saved lives on the force. But Daniel, he'd never admit it, but Bruno had saved his. Now they were just two old souls, living out the quiet end of their story, or so they thought. That night, as the rain tapped on Daniel's old tin roof, Bruno stirred, then stood, then bolted through the doggy door. Daniel blinked awake. Bruno, where are you going? No answer, just wet paw prints and fading barks. Daniel, annoyed and half asleep, threw on boots without socks and grumbled the whole way out. He didn't realize that in exactly 16 minutes, his heart would beat in a way it hadn't since his wedding day. Bruno's growls echoed off the alley walls, but it wasn't aggression. It was fear, urgency, protectiveness. Daniel turned the corner behind Delaney's and saw something that made his blood freeze. Bruno, now whimpering, circling something. A filthy green blanket. No, not just a blanket. A baby, a newborn, still attached to the umbilical cord, lying in a damp, trash-lined alley, barely wrapped, barely breathing. Daniel gasped. Dear God. He rushed over, fumbling with his hands, heart pounding. That old, aching grief rose up fast. But it wasn't grief this time. It was something else. A second chance. They say time slows down during trauma. It's true. Daniel's hands shook as he dialed 911. I need an ambulance behind Delaney's grocery. There's a baby, a newborn, left in a dumpster. My dog, he found her. The dispatcher gasped. Wait, did you say your dog? The baby, later named Hope by the nurses, was stabilized within the hour. One more hour, and she would have likely frozen to death. Hypothermia, exposure, dehydration. She was no more than a few hours old. Umbilical cord still attached. No ID, no witnesses, no mother in sight. Just a hero dog and a retired man who didn't believe in miracles until that night. Now here's the part where things took a turn. 2 days later, Detective Serena Marks of Millbrook PD reviewed the grocery store's alley security footage. At 2:42 a.m., a shadowy figure crept up behind the dumpster. Hooded, shaking. A woman. Slim. No shoes. She placed something behind the bin, looked around, and ran. At 3:02 a.m., Bruno arrived. But what happened between those minutes? How Bruno sniffed the air, circled the dumpster 3 times, and gently pulled back the blanket with his teeth to reveal the newborn, then laid beside her, warming her with his body, licking her to stimulate breath, whining for help. Detective Marks rewound it 5 times. She called it the most incredible footage I've ever seen in my life. Room 212 at Millbrook General smelled like baby wipes and fresh gauze. Little Hope lay swaddled in warm blankets. her chest rising and falling, with the softest squeaks you've ever heard. Daniel stood awkwardly near the door. He wasn't sure why he came back. The nurses had called earlier that morning. "Mr. Rowe, we thought you should know. Your dog hasn't left the nursery window since yesterday. He stares in like she's his own." Bruno had refused to leave. Daniel hadn't cried in years, but standing there, watching that tiny miracle through the glass, something gave way inside him, not in a big dramatic movie way, quietly, like ice cracking after a long winter. "I'm not good with kids," he whispered to the nurse beside him. She smiled, then maybe let the dog take the lead. Within 24 hours, Bruno's face was all over the local news. Retired canine rescues abandoned infant from dumpster. Millbrook's miracle pup. Baby Hope's hero. Reporters stood outside Daniel's garage, microphones in hand, waiting for a quote. But Daniel wasn't interested in attention. He just wanted answers. Who would leave a newborn behind a dumpster? What kind of person, what kind of mother could do that? And why did Bruno sense it? Was it just training or something deeper? Detective Serena Marks worked the case with fierce determination. The alley camera footage had a clear enough view for a facial recognition scan, but results were taking time. The woman hadn't used any traceable phones, left no prints. No DNA, just a pink hospital band, discarded near the fence. Half torn, one name barely visible. Emily, that's it. No last name, no hospital ID. Just Emily. But Daniel couldn't stop thinking about her. He hated her. He pitied her. He wanted to scream at her. And then ask if she was okay. "I don't get it," he mumbled one night, while brushing Bruno's fur. "Why leave a baby like that? Why not a hospital, a church, something?" Bruno didn't answer, of course, but the look in his eyes, almost like he knew. 3 days later, a young fireman named Kyle came knocking. He held a folded note in his hand. "Found this in the mailbox Dropbox this morning. Thought it might be connected to your case." The envelope was plain, the handwriting shaky. Inside was a single page. "To whoever saved my baby. Thank you. I wanted to die. I couldn't take care of her. I had no food, no one, no help. I thought she'd freeze faster than suffer. I didn't think anyone would find her. But your dog did. And because of him, maybe she'll have a life better than mine. I named her Hope too. Please keep her safe. Emily." Daniel sat down on the porch step, blinking. No return address, just heartbreak smeared in ink. "Bruno," he said, voice hoarse. "What do we do with this?" Hope was officially in state custody now. A caseworker from Child Welfare had started paperwork for emergency foster placement. Daniel hated the thought. Strangers, temporary homes, government red tape. "You saved her," Daniel whispered to Bruno that night. "Why do they get to take her?" That's when the idea hit him. Crazy, wild, impossible. But maybe, just maybe, could he adopt her? An old man with a half-working back, a grumpy temper, and a garage for a home? Was that even legal? Turns out it was possible, with complications. Daniel wasn't an ideal candidate. No parenting history, limited income, and technically, very technically, he hadn't found Hope himself. Bruno did. But you know what swayed the caseworker? A 12-minute clip of a retired K9 guarding a newborn like his own, and a 5-paragraph letter from Nurse Carla at Millbrook General, titled simply, "This man didn't just save a baby, he got saved too." Just when things started settling, Daniel passed the first round of evaluations. Hope's adoption paperwork began. Something happened. Detective Marks called. "We found her," she said. "Emily?" She came into a shelter downtown, underfed, exhausted, asking about the baby, said she wanted to confess everything. Daniel's chest tightened. "She wants to see you," the detective added. They met in the police station interview room. Daniel, Emily, and Bruno curled quietly at Daniel's feet. Emily looked no older than 20, hair matted, cheeks hollow, eyes full of guilt. "I thought she'd die," she whispered. Daniel didn't speak at first. He looked at her, really looked. And for some reason, he didn't see a monster. He saw a kid, scared, hungry, alone. The kind of soul his late wife would have wrapped in a blanket and fed soup to. "I hated you," he said, "for what you did." Emily nodded, eyes wet. I hated me too. Then Daniel added softer, but thank you for naming her Hope. They both cried then. No dramatic music, no swelling violins, just two broken people, sharing something heavy, and one German shepherd lying silently between them, keeping watch. The family court judge, a stern woman with silver-streaked hair and glasses perched on her nose, looked up from the paperwork. Mr. Rowe, she said, you are requesting to adopt a child as a single guardian. Age 58, income modest, residence above an auto garage, medical history, back surgery in 2018. She paused, eyed him over the rim of her glasses. Why now? Daniel cleared his throat. He wore a button-down shirt that Hope had thrown up on twice that morning. He didn't care, because I didn't expect to have a reason to keep going, and now I do. Silence in the room. He glanced down at Bruno, resting beside the baby carrier. And because she already has a protector, Emily sat quietly on the bench outside the courthouse, wrapped in a donated coat, wringing her hands. She didn't fight the adoption. In fact, she'd signed the release willingly. I don't want her bouncing around foster homes like I did. She'd told Detective Marks. She deserves roots. People. Daniel found her there after the hearing. You know, he said, sitting beside her, you could be part of that, if you want. She looked at him, startled. What do you mean? I mean visits, letters, pictures. If you get clean, get help, maybe even family dinners. Eventually, Emily's eyes filled with tears. I'm not ready. Daniel nodded, then start getting ready. He paused, then chuckled. Besides, she's already got your nose. Emily smiled through her tears. You really think so? No idea. Babies all look like potatoes to me. They both laughed. A soft, tired human laugh. The kind people laugh when the worst has passed and something new is beginning. 12 months later, a bouncy one-year-old girl named Hope tugged on Bruno's ear as he lay in the backyard under a shady oak tree. The German shepherd didn't flinch, just sighed, rolled over, and let her climb onto his back like a jungle gym. The yard was filled with balloons, homemade cake, laughter. Emily was there too, healthier, brighter, sober for 9 months, and working part-time at the local shelter. She's got your stubbornness, she told Daniel, smiling. And your lungs, he said, plugging his ears as Hope linguistic delight. They both laughed again. Daniel turned to Bruno, who gave a low huff. You know, he said to no one in particular, none of this should have happened, but somehow it did. Then Daniel added quietly, maybe miracles come in fur coats. Months later, the Millbrook Town Council asked for permission to display Bruno's rescue footage in a small exhibit at the local library. Part of a new display called Everyday Heroes, Daniel agreed. He didn't care about awards or press. He just wanted people to see it, to remember what loyalty looked like, what devotion did. The clip ended with Bruno, lying beside newborn Hope, wrapping his body protectively around her, in that damp alley. No barks, no drama, just pure instinct, just love. Pages the library display was a new letter, anonymous to visitors, but signed privately by Emily. I once thought I was invisible, forgotten, broken, but someone saw through all that. A dog, a man, a baby I never deserved. This isn't my story anymore, it's theirs. But maybe one day, when I'm ready, I'll write the next chapter. For now, I'll just say thank you for not giving up on her or me. Daniel, now 60, ran the garage with Hope's old high chair in the corner and Bruno's dog bed right next to it. Customers came in not just for oil changes, but to ask how the little one was doing. Bruno grew grayer, slower, but never once left Hope's side. She said her first word at 14 months. It wasn't mama, wasn't dada, it was Brew. Close enough. On a chilly morning in early spring, Bruno didn't get up. Hope, now 3, curled up beside him. Daniel, with tears in his eyes, stroked the dog's head. You can rest now, boy. You did your job. And Bruno? He wagged his tail one last time, then went still. They buried him under the oak tree. Daniel carved the marker by hand. Bruno, loyal to the end, the dog who gave hope. Hope placed her favorite toy beside it, a small rubber duck. and kissed the street with her tiny lips. "I love you, Brew." 5 years later, Emily stood at a podium in a community center, holding a microphone with shaky hands. "Hi," she said. "My name's Emily. I'm 5 years sober. I work at the women's shelter now, and I help moms who think they've run out of options." She glanced at Daniel and Hope in the front row. Her voice cracked. "And I know it's never too late to start again." In her pocket was a tiny photo of a German shepherd and a swaddled baby, 2 lives that changed hers forever. So if you're still watching this, maybe you believe things happen for a reason. Maybe you believe in second chances. Or maybe, like Daniel, you didn't until a dog showed you otherwise. Whatever the reason, if this story touched you, tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Are you a dog lover too? Ever experienced an unexpected miracle? And don't forget to subscribe for more real, emotional stories like this one, because sometimes the world needs a reminder that hope doesn't always come wrapped in perfection. Sometimes it comes wrapped in fur.